We are back. We apologize for any technical difficulties you may have experienced. We're figuring this all out together. Again, this is episode 6 of the PHP Podcast. And again, we are here with my business partner, legally, documents, paper, sharing revenue, sharing leadership responsibilities and duties. We have my friend, business partner, Jose Gaytan, coming from a commercial collections background, now a first-generation cash flow millionaire. Jose Gaytan, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, good to be with you, Matt. Excited, man. You guys have been crushing it, man. Money Smart and my beautiful wife on the podcast has been seeing you guys and the entire team interviewing a bunch of amazing people that really have some amazing stories. So it's great to be with you guys and kind of share what's going on with us and hopefully add some value to everyone that's watching.
100%, Jose. Yeah. No, Jose, everybody's here's got a story. You know, I was always been around insurance conferences. I've been in the insurance industry now for 22 years, but everybody's got a funny story.
Yep.
How they got entered into the insurance industry, because it's not like you go to school. Hey, I'm going to be an insurance agent one day. Hey, I'm going to go to run a insurance agency, build an insurance agency one day. How did you get recruited into the life insurance industry?
So funny, man. It's so true. Nobody really thinks about being an insurance agent, right? But when you are, you realize how noble of an industry you're a part of. And it's such a rewarding field to be a part of. So I'm blessed that I was in the right place at the right time. But actually, I remember being on my brother's referral list. And there's a guy named Jeremy who comes to my townhouse. And he drives all the way from Culver City to the hood, practically, right? In Pacoima, Panorama City area. I opened up like a $75 a month IRA, okay? And I remember calling Jeremy months later because I got introduced I went to a meeting. It was a meeting with another company and I signed up. I was so excited. Somebody invited me to go see a presentation. It was another company. And I signed up and then I called Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, I'm going to be doing something like you. He says, what company? He says, this. I told him the name of the company. He tells me, Jose, do you want to just offer one product? Because this company was kind of captive on the products. Or do you want to offer multiple products? I said, I want to offer multiple products. So I drove to his office in Culver City and I came on board with him with another company. And that's how it began. And then I was introduced to the industry. I had no experience. I'm a former bill collector. I'm doing corporate collections for Nike, Coca-Cola, Lockheed, Boeing. I know a lot about, litigations and demand letters and negotiating with CFOs and a bunch of debt. And I learned a lot of that stuff dealing with attorneys. And prior to that, I was going to Cal State Northridge. I was a psych major. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then I saw a presentation for the first time. They talked about being an entrepreneur. They talked about insurance. They talked about serving families. I always wanted to help people. And it opened up my eyes because they talked about money. And a lot of us know how to make it. We know how to spend it. But they talked about the rules of the money game for the first time. And so I kind of recruited myself. And I saw it. And I said, can I really do this? I don't need a degree. I don't need any of that stuff. I just need a license. And the people that were initially brought me on board, recruited me, they had degrees from USC. Jeremy he had his bachelor's from Pepperdine. This guy's like no joke, a younger version of President Obama. The way he looks, the way he talks, the way he carries himself, very articulate. And I really, respected this guy because he's just a bright guy. And I'm like, dude, I don't have this background. I'm a freaking former bill collector. But you know what I did have? I had heart. I had desire and I wanted to be somebody. And I saw something. I said, man, if these guys can do it, I can figure this thing out. So, that's kind of how it started, in the beginning.
That's it. So speaking of beginnings, we all want to know because today you guys are, as I mentioned earlier, cash flow millionaires, have a beautiful house there in Southern California, office there in Santa Ana. Marlene, I got to ask you, my co-host on the PHP podcast, how did you guys meet?
How did we meet? I was 23 years old. My mortgage broker introduced me to Patrick Bet-David, and he said, Marlene, Latinas that do real estate, dime a dozen. Latinas that know about insurance, there isn't many. So I had a real estate license. I had a notary license. I thought, why not get an insurance license? And I get started in the training program. Patrick Bet-David is teaching a class. Now, keep in mind, my direct mentor is Patrick. But he's planning a wedding, just got engaged. He's super busy. And I'm a 23-year-old kid. I'm sure he thought she won't do nothing. So I'm in a class and I want to know, how do I get licensed? What do I do next? So he talks about meal exchange. He said, if you want to learn the business, I suggest you take somebody out to coffee. So then in the classroom on the board, he writes down, I recommend Jose Gaytan. So I wrote it in my notebook. The class ends and I said, who is this guy, Jose Gaytan? And so they pointed at that guy. So I walked up to him and I said, hey, I need to get licensed. Can I take you to coffee? So that's how we met. That's my version, because there's always two versions. There's his version and then there's my version. So
in other words, she picked up on me. In other words, that's just another way of saying she picked up on me. Can I take him to coffee? So that's where it all began.
Okay, man. All right, because how many nicknames does our CEO founder have for you, Jose? How many different nicknames?
How funny, man. How funny. It started with Rico Suave. Well, there's a video behind that. If you guys ever get a chance to see the video, you've probably seen the video, the dancing, right?
Yeah, of course.
The video. So there's a video behind that, Rico Suave, and then it went to Seabiscuit from the movie Seabiscuit, which is a phenomenal movie. And then he started calling me Mexican JFK, I guess because the way I train or speak or my composure. And then he started calling me Teflon Don, because like Teflon, everything bounces off, and I kind of, I don't get rattled easily, so I have a lot of composure. So Pat calls me Teflon Don.
Teflon Don.
I think those are it.
And Matt, to his point, there's always the yin and the yang, because I'm the opposite. I'm like the emotional one. I get super excited, but I kid you not, this is a true story. We went to train the trainers. I know we're about to have one in a couple of weeks in Texas. And this is 2 weeks ago. We're in the hotel. It's like 3 a.m. and the alarm starts going off, the fire alarm.
Uh-oh.
So it's just him and I. We didn't have our boys with us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a fire. I look out the window. Everybody is running down. Everybody's running downstairs. The elevators are stuck, trying to run down the stairs. And we're like on the 18th floor or something. And I'm putting on my shoes. I'm like, get your stuff. There's a fire. He didn't even move. He put the covers over his head and he said, it's probably a false alarm. Go back to sleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, is he crazy? And maybe a couple minutes later, we find out it's a false alarm. But I thought, even in the middle of a fire, he's just so chill.
The value of sleep was just so much more, and we were right. So nothing to worry about, nothing to panic.
That's it, man. So, by the way, if you guys are watching this right, this is episode 6 of the PHP Agency Podcast. Yes, we had to launch, and we had to deal with some technical difficulties. Please be sure to share this podcast with your Facebook, social media profiles, with your Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please put it out there in the social media universe that we are doing a PHP Agency Podcast. And here we are to crack open who we are, what we do. Pop it open the hood so you can see the engines behind PHP Agency and the personalities and the drivers of who is making PHP Agency today. So the Gaytan organization is known as TGA, The Great Awakening, right? That's your company within inside a company.
Yes.
So Jose, how did you come up with TGA, brother?
Originally we had a different name given to our CEO by our CEO. It was Team Dynasty. And then over time, as you grow, your identity grows. So 2011, I believe it was, I just got a point in my life where I was just doing a lot of studying leaders and people that I admire, Martin Luther King and JFK and Roosevelt, and then a lot of speakers. And I came across spiritual leaders, and I came across Billy Graham. Never heard of Billy Graham before. I started watching his videos when Billy Graham, if you ever want to be on fire, watch his videos when he's in his late 20s and 30s. And this guy was at the pulpit just delivering a message about, spirituality and values and principles of what our country needs, and people having great awakenings and spiritual awakenings. So he spoke to me, and I got the message, and I just dove into what that represented, and values and principles and people transforming, because I was having a great awakening. Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about business. I'm a new entrepreneur. I'm excited. I'm not doing very good my first couple of years, which is normal, but I was discovering the next best version of myself. And I didn't know at the time, but the more I dug into what he spoke about in spirituality and faith and becoming a better man and better leader, it just made sense, because you can do anything. You can do anything. And you're in a business conference right now, and you hear a lot of people when it comes to driving numbers and sales and all that stuff. But if you're not developing leaders, what are you doing, right? So, I got a chance to really understand what that meant. So then name.
By the way, we have somebody who wants to say hi real quick. Can you come on? By the way, someone wants to say hi real quick. Not only is our CEO,
our CEO. All right, look what we have here.
Hey, you guys heard of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant?
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Dwayne Wade,
Mr. Grover, how are you doing?
Personal trainer.
Relentless.
Tim Grover.
How you doing, Mr. Grover? Tim Grover.
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, man. We love you, Mr. Grover. Tim Grover, Relentless. And then our CEO, Patrick.
By the way,
good seeing you.
Tim's book is just coming out May 18th. If you haven't
Winning.
ordered it,
We're gonna do some
it's the newest book coming out.
It's called Winning, right?
Call winning, yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. We're gonna get that right away.
Greatness. Patrick was so graceful for us to first interview.
Nice.
Wow.
Interview here. We knew where we know where we had to start.
On fire from the beginning to the end. Absolute fire. Cannot wait for everybody to see it. But it's probably going to be the book of the month of June, because if it comes out something early, but it's going to be the company's book of the month of June. But regardless, if you haven't ordered it, you want to go order it. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Relentless.
we just wanted to come say hi.
Thank you.
We don't
Good
want
to
to
see you both.
interrupt. We'll
Thank you, Patrick. Tim Grover.
We got to connect, buddy.
Yep. You got me. You still got my information.
Yeah, I do. Are you guys going to lunch? Okay,
Yeah, we're going to lunch.
for sure. I'll catch you back. Yep. For sure.
If you guys haven't gotten the book, if you're watching this and you know about Tim Grover and the book Relentless, go get the book.
Relentless, baby.
By far,
Yeah.
one of the books.
That's guys. Bro, there's somebody that knows champions, guys. For those of you, I'm wondering, who do you think Tim Grover is? Sometimes everybody's about the new school NBA right now, which is cool, but that was Tim Grover, man. It was a big deal. He was one of our speakers at our conferences a couple years ago. But for those of you in the chat box, we're looking, who is Tim Grover? That was a big deal for not only our CEO to come in and say hello to everybody, but Tim Grover coming in.
That's right.
Yeah, Jose, you're a big book reader.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the 1, 2, 3 books you've read while you started your career at PHP Agency to help you get to building TGA, becoming a cash flow millionaire? What would you say those? And Marlene, I want to ask you that same question too as well. Top 3 books from the both of you guys.
Okay. I'll go real quick. So, but for those of you guys, go get Relentless on Mindset. One of the best books on mindset. You got to get Relentless on Mindset. And then the other one would be on Mindset would be David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. That's changed my mindset on physical and discipline last 3 years. Powerful. But in the beginning, our CEO Patrick, who you guys saw right now, where I would not be anywhere today if it wasn't for my coach and mentor Patrick, who changed my life. But he would teach a lot from the 33 Strategies of War, Robert Greene, the 33 Strategies of War, by far one of the best books that I have dissected. It's a book like this thick, but you got stories and stories and stories of war, of generals, of the underdog story, overcoming adversities and doing the impossible. And I read so many of these stories and I connected. I said, man, if these generals went through this, if they conquered the impossible, what can I do? Right? Where they're at right now is exactly what I'm going through. So I had to connect with that. That was one of my top books. The next book that comes to mind when it comes to, for me, I didn't know a lot about how to deal with people or sales or presenting with people and working with a team. So, Maxwell on leadership, any Maxwell books on leadership really gave me a lot of clarity. Those are one of those books that you get and you train from regularly, because it becomes a part of you. And those are some of the first 2 that come to mind. Babe, I'm sure you're big on personal development. What comes to mind?
I was just thinking, it's so funny how women or men are so different. He's talking about, 33 strategies of war, and my picks would be different. I'd probably say my all-time favorite book is How to Make Friends and Influence People, because that book literally transformed my career. When I first got recruited, I didn't have the communication skills to lead an organization, especially to lead men. I was 23 years old. So as a young woman, to learn how to lead men or how to lead couples, I needed to understand men, how they think, how they process. And I just learned you get more, you get more honey. I mean, you get more bees with honey. So that book really transformed my business. That book has made me a lot of money. I always say people won't remember what you say. People will always remember how you make them feel. And I'm sure people that are watching this, even value-tainers, will agree that when Patrick is speaking on video, for some reason you get butterflies because you swear he's talking to only you. And that's such an incredible ability. So that book has made me my second pick. This is why I said women are so different, is a more recent book that I think should be taught in every marriage. I think anybody that's about to get married, any wife should read this book, and it's called Keys to the Kingdom. But when I read that book, I thought, wow, if more people had access to this book, the divorce rate would be so much higher, because a lot of what we do in our organization, we do a lot of marriage seminars, we do a lot of couples events. So we have a lot of books for couples and communication, because most of our offices are ran by couples. So you're teaching a husband and wife to get a license, learn an insurance business, but most importantly, not to kill each other, because my husband is here. He will remember the first 2 years we were working together, building a business. It was World War III. Because you're not used to working with the same person, and men and women communicate completely different. But I think when you have these tools, not only will you have a richer quality of life, but you will make a lot more money as well.
By the way, for those of you who are watching us right now, put in a chat box, what was Gaytan's 3 books? What was Marlene's 3 books? Put them in a chat box. And you're going to have a chance. We just announced here also as well that you have a chance. If you put those down, you might have a chance to win Tim Grover's book called Winning. We just announced here about 5 minutes ago.
That's right.
If you're one of the people that sticks around towards the end, because we're going to have Jose and Marlene pick our winners. And I might just select those who remember the books that Jose just mentioned. And Marlene just, by the way, real quick, Jose, just for everybody taking notes, what are the 3 books really quick? And Marlene, what are the 3 books really quick?
I said too, the 33 Strategies of War from Robert Greene, and then John Maxwell on Leadership.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and I gave 2. The first one is How to Make Friends and Influence People. The second one is Keys to the Kingdom by Alison Armstrong.
Boom, boom, boom. Lock those in. I hope you remember it, because we're going to ask who remembers at the end of this podcast. And those that remember, we're going to select you. Once you share this podcast, you subscribe to the podcast, and you share these 2 books again that they mentioned, and you're going to have a chance to win Tim Grover's new book, Winning, coming here in June 2021. Okay, so I want to get right into it. Marlene, you got some thoughts here about couples working together in business. We want to know, especially for those of you that are single out there, because people think, oh, we're talking about couples, but why should the singles listen to as well? Because Marlene's going to share with you why. Because before they were married, they were single. Before Sheena and I were married, we were single. We became couples. We became couples in business. We became power couples. But Marlene, what is your encouragement and tips and strategies on building power couples?
Well, you're right, Matt. When I first got recruited, I was single. And every time I would hear power couple, I'm like, here we go again. Here we go again. But I think naturally, as time goes by, you're going to want to find a partner. So I think it happens inevitably. It just so happens that here at PHP, we attract so many people that are like-minded, people that, are ambitious, people that are dreamers, people that like to personally develop. And I always say that happy people are people that are growing, meaning if you are reinventing yourself, you're having an awakening, you're reading books, you're excited about where you're going, you're just so much more attractive. So naturally, you're going to find people of the opposite sex that are going to be working here. So it's very likely if you're single watching this, just look out for PHP Singles, readytomingle.com. We're working on that behind the scenes, just kidding. But if you're single and you're looking, you might want to check out PHP. This is for people that are looking for a serious relationship, because we don't condone, just hooking up, definitely not. But you're very likely to meet somebody here in PHP. So I started single. We transitioned and started working together, and we've been working together now since 2009. So every time we see new couples that are, opening up their own office or doing something and they feel like, oh, it's the end of the world, we laugh because we've been through it. So we also have classes. My husband teaches a lot of classes for men, and I teach a lot of classes for women, because a lot of what I teach, Matt, I have to say, it's a little controversial. Today's society teaches women, you don't need a man, go make your own money, be Miss Independent. But I always say, an alpha needs a beta. So if you say, I'm strong, I don't need a man, you are the alpha, you're going to attract a beta. So a lot of it, I think it's re-education, because society teaches women the complete opposite. And like I said, a lot of what I do is teaching human nature. So I think when people actually understand and have those tools, they see such a big transformation in their personal lives and in their business.
Powerful.
That's crazy. I mean, when you're looking at couples today, when you saw Jose, okay, he wasn't at the top of the leaderboard at the time. What were some of the ingredients? What were some of the things that you looked at in Jose that said that's a man I can believe in, that's a man I can rock with, that's a man I can date to marry one day? Because sometimes people, like you just mentioned earlier, people sometimes date just for the sake of dating, and then next thing you know, a year, 2, 3, 4 years, their life go by, and it just goes down the toilet. I know that because that's what I did in my 20s, because I didn't know how to pick the right relationships. Marlene, any guidance you can have in terms of picking the right partner?
I'll tell you, Matt, it was either my bank account or my dance moves.
Ooh! He is a good dancer. I'll give him that. He's a very, very good dancer.
It wasn't my bank account.
When I first met my husband, we were starting a company, and definitely we did not have any money when we got started. At the time, he's 10 years older than me, and starting a business. What I did admire about him was his work ethic. First one in the office, last one to leave, and he just had so much heart to win. So that was very attractive to me. The second thing that really attracted me to him was the fact that he went to church every single Sunday. He went to church every single Sunday, even though he worked long hours Monday through Friday. That was the first thing he did on Sunday. So I was always looking at character. But I'll tell you what really won me over. Funny story. So we were dating, and PHP is a brand new company, meaning we're in the, survival stage. We only have one carrier. We're just trying to stay afloat, right? Trying to stay in business. And there was this one particular month where our commissions department accidentally overpaid us. So we were expecting maybe like, $1,000 or something, but for some reason, we got a direct deposit for $8,000. Now, keep in mind, in 2009, when you have gone months and months and months and months without a paycheck, when everybody thinks you're crazy, when you left your 6-figure career to start a company, $8,000 would have solved every single one of our problems, right? But I remember I pretended like I didn't see, because I wanted to see what he would do. And he emailed back our HQ and said, no, this is wrong. You accidentally overpaid us. That's when I knew, like, okay, this is gold. Because I always think if somebody can lie on the little things, they're going to lie on the big things. So I thought, not only is he a man of faith, not only is he ambitious, but he also is a man of character. And that 100% won me over.
Wow. So Jose, would you say that were you looking for Marlene, or did you attract Marlene?
I'm going to say that I attracted Marlene.
Of course.
Oh man, listen, bro. I mean, things are just meant to be, man. Prior to dating meeting Marlene, I was, single for a while, and I was just at a point in my life where I had to change all of my habits. And I met Patrick. We started going to Shepherd of the Hills Church, Porter Ranch, and just discipline. I needed to create a new discipline, right? And she mentioned it earlier. My wife just mentioned earlier, she says, the moment you read and you improve and you want to reinvent yourself, you become more attractive. You will attract other people, right? It's true. So I had to go out there and get clearer and in a place where like what I'm doing is not working. Let me go change my habits, right? So then I started becoming more disciplined with Patrick, and then right place or right time. And then she walks in the training room. And, like in the movies where there's music and everything stops. And she floats over to me and I floated over to her, and it was just a connection, right? That happened in my mind. It didn't really happen, but it happened in my mind. And then, so I saw her, and I saw her beautiful, beautiful colored green eyes. And then everything, we clicked, and then we got along. We had so many things in common. She asked me out to go have some coffee. And then, I'm asking her about her dance, what kind of music she likes. Let's go dancing. She wanted to learn about business. I'm getting to know about her. And then we just became friends. We became business partners. And she's just amazing when it comes to her work ethic, her mind, her vision. And she's relentless, and she's going to get what she wants. So I just knew I had a running mate. And we both ran together, and she always had my back. I had her back through our toughest times. We just had each other, and it's been a blessing, man. So yeah, if you come to this environment, what's great about this environment, man, across the country with all our offices that we have, you're going to find people with common values, common goals, common dreams, and you can't help but connect with the right people. And all the other ones are going to filter themselves out, don't belong there. That's the beautiful thing about it. The ones that really stick around here long term, they eventually connect, and good things can happen, like strong relationships that we've seen. So it's been a blessing, man. So that's how it's been.
The reason I asked that is because I felt the same way too about my wife, about Sheena.
Yep.
I wasn't looking for Sheena. Sheena just kind of bumped across me, and and next thing you know, things took off. But unlike where I was maybe in my late teens and 20s, where I felt like I was forcing a relationship, I realized there was, lack of self-respect for me, lack of self-love, lack of self-image, lack of self-worth. And I thought I had it because I was in the Marine Corps. I thought I had it because I got promoted in the Marine Corps, but I realized I was still very much still being built.
Yep.
But yet I was forcing relationships. And Jose, you're in your 40s now. You're in the 40 club.
Yeah.
But and there's a little bit of difference of age difference between you and Marlene, just like there's a little bit of age difference between Sheena and I. I think Sheena and I, we have 12 years of difference.
Yeah, we're 10.
You're 10. Yeah, so we're both in the same kind of. There's just a different capacity where I think as a man, we from some weird way we just got to get that values and principles area of our life squared away.
Right.
Marlene, if obviously Jose's good looking, he's got a way with words, he's got a way with his actions, he's got his ways on the dance moves. What made you think differently about Jose from not only a personal relationship, but also think about, man, can I also build a business with Jose? Because and build a life overall together. How is that wrapping around in your mind? How did you process that?
I think for a lot of people watching this, if you're even watching this, you must have been told at some point you're a dreamer, you're crazy, you think too big. And I've been told that my entire life. I mean, since I was little, my parents would always say, ¿Por qué no eres una niña normal? Why can't you just be normal? Because I'm in elementary school talking about, I'm going to get a Nobel Peace Prize. So it was refreshing to meet somebody that was a dreamer like me. Because, I had never found a guy that was, big thinker, that was a dreamer. I would always say, I'm going to be a millionaire. And it's funny because when somebody sees you, Matt, Sapaula, and Sheena, they probably think, oh, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, right? When somebody sees us, they say, oh, you guys have a beautiful mansion now. You guys are sad, but they don't see the beginning phases. I remember when my husband proposed, he got down on one knee, had no ring, and he didn't even have a box. He said, I have no ring to give you, but if you marry me, I'll give you the world. And that was the beginning of how we actually,
guys. Take notes.
That's the beginning. When we got married, we eloped in Vegas. We could barely afford a marriage license. We couldn't even afford Elvis, right? Could barely afford a marriage license. So people don't see the beginning. It starts with a dream. It starts with hustle. There were many late nights. There were many setbacks. But at the end of the day, we had each other. So if you are watching this and you have a running mate, it's so special. It's so special. So I always tell the women in my classes and a lot of the couples, I always say it's so interesting how when you have a child, because I have 2 boys and 1 on the way, how do we speak to our children? Oh, you're amazing. You can do anything. How was school? You got an A? Oh, honey, you can be a president. You can be a CEO. But I always say, how do we talk to our spouse? Why didn't you throw out the trash? Why did you forget this? Why didn't you do that? So, to your point, you can, speak to the fool in somebody or speak to the king, but you're going to bring out the greatness. So when I met my husband, he didn't have much, but I remember I would tell him all the time, you're going to be the greatest builder that's ever lived. You're going to be the greatest builder the industry has ever seen. And I would make sure to speak these words of affirmation constantly, especially in the beginning when belief was low because we didn't have anything.
Man, it's awesome, man.
Oh, affirmations, yeah.
How many guys listening to this right now are just jacked up and fired up with what Marlene just said? That was amazing. And that, I think, earned. If you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, you should be subscribing right now. Let me reference some of the comments here. Somebody's comments here in the live chat. Matt Torres says, wow. What's up, Matt Torres? Henry Holbrett says, love is the answer. Victoria Maddox says, so on point. Daniel Hernandez says, she's got me over here with my eyes watering. Jen DeGito says, remembering from the last podcast, who's your first and last appointment? And I'm fired up, So let's get into base shop building, because I think we can weave in a lot of things that we work together as builders. There's a big difference between being inside the insurance industry just as a salesperson, which is 99% of the sales of the insurance industry. Right. Like you can get recruited, trained, and developed by some other sales insurance office, and they'll train you as a sales producer, as a great, and hopefully you become a great salesperson. You sell a lot of life insurance, you sell a lot of annuities, you sell a lot of long-term care, disability, whatever case, health insurance, whatever. But PHP is different because it's not just about being a salesperson, it's about being a sales leader.
Yep. Being
a sales leader, setting an example. And leadership is really defined into two things. Number one, setting a great personal example that's attractive. There's a reason I was asking that with Jose, because oftentimes we were actually repelling people without us even knowing it. And they were wondering, how come it's so hard to build a team? How come it's so hard to build an insurance business? Because based on lack of personal leadership, you're actually repelling versus attracting. And the second part of leadership, sales leadership, is helping people do what they normally wouldn't have done themselves because you're in their life. And so there's a lot of people in TGA that's been blessed because of your involvement in their life, Jose and Marlene. I mean, your in-laws, Jose, Marlene's brother and sister are millionaires because of this opportunity. You blessed a lot of people, the Alejandro brothers, Aguilar brothers, Alejandro and Ricky, forever blessed because you decided to stick within this business. So some of the misconceptions, and I pulled MSM, I pulled some of our marketing directors at MSM with some of the things that they thought were misconceptions about the difference between sales and building a sales force and building a sales agency, because oftentimes they're misconstrued. I'll give you a quick story. We're at this SLS conference here. Patrick was leading a sales leadership summit here in Palm Beach, and a lady in real estate gets up in the back. She goes, I do $800,000 in income myself, and I have two companies. I got a real estate brokerage and I got a construction and staging company. And because I want to help facilitate the homes that I sell, either I stage them or improve the property so I can sell them. But these guys do what I say, and they're solid. These guys are solid people that work for my staging company, that work for my construction company. But man, my real estate associates, they're such a headache. They're a PITA. You know what PITA stands for? Pain in the assets, right? They're PITAs, right? My agents are this. And Patrick sure told them, well, I don't think you're built for leadership. On your own, you said you have $800,000 income. I don't think you're built for leader, and don't try to fit yourself into something that you're not. So when it comes to people getting recruited into PHP Agency, being recruited, trained, and developed PHP Agency, some of the misconceptions here I'll jot down is, one is, Jose, Marlene, I'll never be like you. I'm so far away from achieving success like you. What would you say to somebody that says something like that? They'll never be a millionaire. They'll never be a Jose and Marlene Gaytan. They'll never have a nice house. And you're so lucky to be with PHP so early on because you're a co-founder and this and this, that. What would you tell them?
Well, I would say, no, that's not true, because we've been fortunate now to build an agency that's going to be doing 30,000 new business partners this year and $30 million of production this year. And we have agents that are doing it in half the time that we did it. So what do you mean? Yeah, we've been here since day one, 11 years now. But there are people who are now doing it in 5 years. So what we did in 11 years, they're doing it in 5 years. They're doing it in 6 years. They're doing it in 4 years. Why is that? Because it's a speed of development, the speed of personal development, the speed of increasing your discipline, the speed of increasing your habits. So that is a misconception. The difference between the newest person and us is simply years longer and more meetings we've attended, more seminars we've attended, more books that we've read, and that's pretty much it, and more activity. So if you want to go out there and catch up, you just got to 10x all of your efforts, and you can do it. Anybody can. So we have agents now that are making $1 million a year in income. They did it in 6.5 years, $1 million of income. Another agent that's about to cross $1 million, Ricky and Erica Aguilar, and their 6th year, I believe it's 6th year coming up here. We have their brother Alejandro Aguilar is making $500,000 of income. And we have someone named Wendy Munoz, who's just in 2.5 years licensed. She's at $325,000 of income. And it's all override, by the way, passive income. So it's just how much and how fast. So the misconception, like you said, Matt, is it's just simply you doing a little bit more, and you can speed up the process. So
yep.
Those are my thoughts.
You know, Matt, what I'm going to say is going to be a little controversial, because I would tell that person that says, I could never do it, I would say, you're right. If you don't believe you can, you won't. You know, I mean, Tim Grover is the greatest trainer on the planet, but he needs an athlete that has a desire. You know, this is why I believe in, you know, give everybody the opportunity and recruit people that have high self-esteem. I don't need you to think you're going to be the next, Matt and Sheena, but I need you to think, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to give it a try, because those people are a lot more likely. You know, my dad studied hypnotherapy, the power of the subconscious mind. And when you tell yourself, I can't do it, you need to say 3 times the opposite just to neutralize that thought. So we do have big events where people have awakenings. Sometimes maybe people have never been exposed to an environment, never been to a class, never have a mentor. I believe people transform, but me as a coach, for me to work with somebody, they got to have the desire of, I want to be somebody. Otherwise, there isn't much a coach can do for that player, you know? So, I think the people that we attract are people that are underdogs. Maybe I was an underdog, but I wanted to be somebody.
Oh, and that's his next one. Here's another misconception, because Marlene, you came from a mortgage background. You know, Jose, you got compensated by how many, receivables you were able to collect when you were former commercial collections.
Yeah.
Marlene, what would you say is the biggest difference between just being a salesperson, an individual originator, versus actually somebody building an agency, somebody building distribution, somebody building an agency, somebody building many people that are working this business together with them? Because sometimes people just want to say, I just want to work on individual sales. What's the biggest difference in that gap?
When I did, when I was a loan officer, I saw the mortgage broker, and my sister and I, we used to help him recruit new loan officers. I used to take them in the field. I used to train them. I recruited, all of my high school friends, a lot of friends, to do mortgages. And I realized I never got a penny for that. But my broker was a millionaire. I wasn't. So I associated sales with, I'm going to work the rest of my life. I mean, there are people that say, I've been doing real estate for 30 years. They're now in their mid 50s and they're still selling. That's only the nightmare. I don't sell, I don't eat, I don't sell, I don't eat. They can't go to Europe. They can't go anywhere because they have to be there to close the deal. When I met Patrick, he said, you can build an agency. All you need to do is recruit and train people. I said, I've been doing that for free for years. Maybe you're watching this, you've been in the military, maybe you've been in management, maybe you've been the coach at the YMCA. You already love teaching people. And I realized that I've always loved teaching people. Ever since I was a little kid, if I did something, I would recruit all my friends to do it. It didn't matter what it was. It was, the place we were going to go to. I remember I was learning, etiquette on how to eat sushi and other foods because my dad was a chef. I recruited all of my high school friends to go to the restaurant to try it. So I liked mentoring. I liked helping. I like helping people feel better about themselves. So, and I would do it for free. So to me, team building was just associated with, I get to help more people. So I think people think like, oh, but I'm going to benefit, I'm going to get something of it. If the mindset was, instead of that, I'm going to help somebody change their quality of life, people would naturally want to do it.
If I can add to that, Matt,
Yeah, please reinforce.
To build an agency is going to require a lot of patience. A lot of patience. There's instant gratification, then there's delayed gratification. And we live in a world where we want everything today. If you want instant, go put popcorn in the microwave, you'll be happy in a minute or two. But if you want a business that's that with longevity, you got to give it time. You got to be patient. You got to work on yourself, because you got to be worth following. You got to be able to add value to people. You got to be patient with people. You got to constantly deal with personalities, and it's doable as long as you keep on improving. And then you don't see instant gratification, but you do see the delayed gratification, where now you have a business that can give you a passive income, and also an override income that we all want. We come across so many people, especially now with 30 to 50 million people that file for unemployment. The industries have shifted. All these sales reps we're interviewing on a regular, they've been doing sales, whether it's HVAC sales or this sales. And they tell me after 7-10 years, they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it, because they were not taught how to duplicate themselves. And in order for you to have it long-term, something that's sustainable, you got to go duplicate yourself and learn that. And once you learn that skill, man, that skill pays you multiple seven figures. So be patient. It's a process.
And Matt, I have a question. Matt, I was just curious. You were, independent agent for so many years, and you turned builder, especially when you met Patrick Bet-David. We were just talking about the event that Patrick is hosting, how, people, would pay, an arm and a leg to learn from Patrick, to learn the infrastructure and how to build a company. But when was the transition for you where you said, I've been a solopreneur, I've been a salesperson for so long, I want to be a builder? Because you did it for many, many years. When did that transition happen for you?
That transition happened to me. It was 2000. Let's say, I can't remember the year, but it was my 11th, 12th year in just being a salesperson. I'd buy leads. I do dinner seminars. I do direct mail. I would do a display ads, 3x4 display ads in newspapers and magazines. They would cost me $1,500 a day to get people to call my phone. So that's how I got business. And I was very nervous December 31st, one New Year's Eve. I had this pit in my stomach. You like the pit in your stomach on Sunday nights, when you got to go back to a job you don't like on Monday morning. I'm like, oh, I got to go back to this job. I just had a great weekend, and I got to go to this job on Monday morning. That's because people are doing something they don't love. Right? And so I have the pit in my stomach December 31st. Just comes January 1st, everything I did that year in terms of sales, I got to do all over again. I had to start I got to push the same rock up the hill. And it was my 11th, 12th year as an insurance producer where I was just flat out burnt out. There was no cup of power conversations. I'd never involved my wife because it was just based on sales. It wasn't about sales leadership. There's a difference between sales and sales leadership. Everything, John Maxwell, everything rises and falls on leadership, right? And all leadership is, how John Maxwell defines leadership, leadership is just influence, nothing more, nothing less. And sometimes people don't even want to influence themselves. A lot of people inside the insurance industry don't want to influence themselves. I remember asking a guy in LA, I'm in Chicago. I said, man, can you mentor me? I'd love to be a somebody like you one day. The guy's like, I don't want to mentor you. Why would you want to mentor me? I could be a good asset for you. I mean, he says, you're just gonna be my future competition. I'm not building my competition. Really? That's the way you look at me? I'm in Chicago and I'm in LA. Yeah, man, I'm taking over the marketplace. But bro, you're in LA, I'm in Chicago. You really think you're gonna dominate in Chicago and LA? I guess so. And just make a long story short, I looked them up 6 months ago. No, we're even close. We're making more in a month than this guy is making in 3 months. And speaking of which, just to show you an idea of what cash flow looks like. This is our income for the month so far.
There you go.
This is our income for the month so far. 140. We just got
builder's income right there.
This is a builder's income.
Hey, Matt, how much did your income transform after getting started with PHP and meeting Patrick?
Okay, put it this way. 6 months it took us to make 50,000. Whoo, it was a long 6 months. But after that, and the inclusion of GEB, our first year we ended up with 208. So 12 months we made 208,000. 14 months we made 250. And then 14 months to the 17th month, we went from 250 to $500,000. And from the 17th month in PHP Agency to the 37th month, we crossed over $1 million in yearly cash flow.
Damn.
Rolling 52-week cash flow.
About.
So, and the crazy part, Marlene, when you ask that question, I know we're bringing in somebody that's going to smash that record. We got Bamboo. Yeah, we have technology enabled. We got Bamboo now. We got people like you willing and able to do a podcast like this, willing to train, willing to help. You know, how much, for example, we went to Mental. We bought a book of business, right? We bought a book of business. By the way, it's one thing here. So you can move on and retire if you have a PHP agency code number. You want to retire one day? We'll find someone in PHP that may potentially want to buy your business. Well, Gaytan's and Sapaula's, we bought somebody's business. And are the Philps thankful that you bought that code number? And what type of income level are they at now?
They just crossed $500,000 last 12 months cash flow. And I think they just made like 40 grand in the last 30 days. Yep. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And the same thing too, the Hearts on the East Coast, directly mentoring them. They just crossed over 500,000. They're at 520 right now.
Yeah.
Income. They couldn't be any more happy right now.
Yep.
Because you got leaders in the game.
That's right.
But 1.7% of our income comes from writing business. And by the way, Marlene, one thing, there's so many rumors that come our way. The cool thing about rumors, Marlene, is that there's so much more about me that I didn't know about myself. and the rumor has it that I came to PHP Agency as an industry pro, and then Patrick put entire division of agents underneath me. That's how I didn't know that. That's new to me. Did you guys witness that when we came over?
Nope, not at all. That's false. That's a rumor.
I still remember the first event that you went to. You probably had maybe 15 agents with you, clapping the MSM chant, so there were testaments of you guys coming here and organically just building a business, and to see that transformation for us, as partners, building a company together has been awesome to witness.
It has.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, imagine Phil Jackson, who went from the Bulls to the Lakers, and then they all say, "Oh, it's a rumor." Phil Jackson just cloned more rings.
Yeah.
Instead, he won championships, and they really didn't earn it. When you have a championship coach like PBD, like we're fortunate to have, with the strategies, with the leadership, with the building philosophies that he's got, you guys are a prime example. Getting to $1 million of income cash flow in the last just 5 years with the company, 5.5 years with the company. Yeah,
it's our third year in a row that we're making 7 figures, and we're that close away from crossing $2 million in income.
There you go. So think about that. That's what happens when you have the right mentors, the right philosophies, the right teammates, the right sidelines. You can scale. You can scale at a level that most people never seen before. So,
and by the way, at Train a Trainer, we're going to be discussing the 10 things to build a sales force.
Yep.
And people think it's just one thing. You got to get a great product and great compensation. Wrong. That's why you're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a great product, and I need a number one commission rate. Here's why. Back to Marlene's question. I used to be at 140% contract.
Yep.
I used to be there 11, 12 years. And I remember calling one of the carriers that we do business with. That PHP still does, but I was working and selling insurance. I called this guy, hey, John. His name's not John, but hey, John, I want to let you know I'm moving my contract from this company over to PHP. And I'm your number one guy over there at this other FMO out of 25,000 ladies. And I'm going over here. So why are you doing this? Why are you doing this whole thing with the multi-level company, with the recruiting company? I said, you don't understand building an agency, bro. You don't understand building an agency. The reason why the insurance industry hasn't grown because the same ways they built an insurance agency has not worked the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And top comp is not going to get you to where you go, because right now I'm at a 75% contract with bonuses upon monthly performance bonuses, and we're making what? We're making without buying leads, no buying leads. I'm sorry, it's not a cracked screen, it's a cracked protector. So don't think I'm walking around with a jankety phone. Right?
Matt, Simon Sinek from Starts With Why, he says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So, it's 100% true. Like, you can say comp, you can say this, you can say that. I think the greatest asset that we have here in PHP is our culture, our social capital. To see the top of the company so united, so aligned. We were talking about this with Phelps here in PHPU, how the state of Florida is doing so great because every single state official is aligned. There's a video on YouTube and that one's going viral, and that's why they're thriving. And I believe that's what we have here in PHP with, from, our, headquarters to our CEO, to all the VPs, to all the field leaders. We're just all in alignment. So when you have that, it's really impossible to duplicate that. So I think our culture is definitely what separates us.
Yeah. And if you don't like the culture, you're gonna separate yourself. And if you don't want to build you and you don't want to build other people, that's the culture of PHP.
Yep.
And if you don't like that, knock yourself out. And based on the compensation structure and leadership development here at PHP, it's kind of like we're daring people to make a bad decision. Because you don't do it. Anyway, let me ask you this question, because I know we're running short on time. I'm excited about the big events we got coming up here. In May 9th through 11th, and we're talking about skills, things that you need to learn to build an insurance agency, how to build a power couple. Some of the events we got going on here in May 9th to 11th is called Train the Trainer, and we also have an after party for a special group of qualified folks that meet a certain level of activity and performance. And the company rented out the entire AT&T Stadium. Entire AT&T where the Dallas Cowboys play. And by the way, the draft is happening tomorrow night. The NFL draft is happening tomorrow night. And so we're going to be hanging with Bo Jackson, our CEO, founder, Patrick David. Yeah, I tell you this, the market value for time with our CEO is massive. The reason why I'm here in Florida is because I was attending the Sales Leadership Summit here with Patrick. He was hosting 100 people here who paid, not insurance, people from pharmaceutical, people from medical, pain management, e-commerce, other insurance agencies, real estate investment companies, all sorts of businesses in the value taming community, which are two different companies, two different audiences that our CEO serves. And they paid anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000 to get in this room. And it blows my mind away how much opportunity and access, if our guys perform, to get access to our CEO. But they got to perform. That's their skin in the game. So why don't we show a clip of what our national convention is going to look like coming in Vegas, because our Train to Trainer event here in May is going to be a springboard to the August convention. And then when we get back from the break, I want to ask you guys about some misconceptions in the Latino community about life insurance. So Paul, why don't we show the video here about our national convention at the MGM Grand Arena coming here August 9th through the 12th.
It's going to be sick.
Do this.
we're back.
Whoa, huge.
Wow.
Huge.
Wow. The spectacular event. Woo! That fires me up.
I'm Jose, I know you're looking forward to reconnecting back with Frederick Da Silva, the illusion.
I am, man. That's dude, mind blowing what this illusionist can do. I mean, man, that lineup, those tickets, literally thousands of dollars to go see Da Silva, Joe Coy, amazing comedian. You got Mike Tyson from Leadership Meeting. You got Patrick Lencioni, the author of multiple books, only speaks to top Fortune 500 CEOs. And then we have more speakers coming up. So it's so exciting. You know, I've been in this industry for many years, 15 plus years now. And when you think about insurance, you don't think about this kind of excitement. The conventions that are out there are so boring. You put everybody to sleep. There's nothing fun about it, right?
Yeah.
You just wanted to leave these conventions. Over here, there's so much value, not only on the product side, on the educational side, but man, entertainment. And we're a company and our CEO and our entire team where we just flood all of our funds into putting together events where you can share a stage with the minds of a Kobe Bryant over here. I mean, think about the value of that mindset. You taking that away, and so many other speakers that we're going to go out there and have. So these events are life changing. If you don't have your ticket, you better go out and get your ticket.
100%.
Especially after a COVID year where we haven't been to a ball game, a concert, a comedy show, absolutely nothing. I think we're so excited to be blown away. And if our CEO, I mean, I don't know how he tops it every single year. I don't know how he just makes events better and better, but I'm just excited to see what he's going to surprise us all with. But just with the lineup we have right now, I mean, Joe Coy alone, to see him, it's a couple $100. And I'm excited to see him, by the way. He is hilarious. If you don't know who he is, you've got to Google him.
I've been, in my 22 years in the insurance industry, I've been to a lot of conventions. I've been to a lot of companies' conventions. I've been to MDRT. I've been to a senior sales summit, retirement planning summit, retirement, all sorts of industry related conferences. Some of them are, some can be fun and exciting, but most of them are boring. And the biggest experience that we get from PHP is that not only do we individually get to enjoy, but we're there with our team. You're there with your guys. You're growing with your people. You're learning and absorbing together. You're growing as a team. The mindset and the leadership direction of your team is growing. Jose, Marlene, let me ask you guys this last final question, a series of questions. What has been some of the misconceptions of life insurance as we're closing out a financial literacy month? What's some of the biggest misconceptions with life insurance that you see in the marketplace that, man, you think about this stuff and where you were, how much have you improved that understanding about money and insurance? What's some of the biggest misconceptions and misunderstandings you have and you get about life insurance?
Well, for me, coming from Latino background, I'm Mexican American, born in Mexico, raised here, same with my wife. Look, I come from a community where we don't prioritize this stuff. Nobody talks about this stuff. They say in their dinner table, you hear it all the time. They'll talk about three things: money, religion, politics. You know what the wealthy talk about? Money, religion, and politics. That's why they get ahead. And so we need to break that chain. We got to break the chain of poverty, the chain of lack of financial education. We're tied. All these chains that's been holding us back generations and generations. We got to break that. So, and we're making a big difference, I believe, because our company is 51% Latino, we're 53% women. So we're really impacting a lot of people. But today has never been a better time for that shift to take place because of the pandemic this last year, where in our community, we said, oh my God, ¿qué pasa si me llega el COVID? No puedo trabajar, right? I can't pay the bills. So, and sadly, we wait for pandemics to happen, but it's been a wake-up call for so many people, realizing the importance of insuring not your car, your cell phone, your house, but your life. Because we all know someone's been affected by COVID. They can't work, or diabetes or cancer, etc. So we've been I've been seeing a big shift. And when you take the high volume route of bringing on board a lot of people and getting in a lot of markets, you really are impacting a lot of people that we would normally not get a hold of. So today, because of the pandemic, people are looking. Forbes.com comes out with an article saying that the demand for life insurance sales has gone up by 50%. 50%. Think about an industry where it's growing and demand by 50%. So today, the tables have changed, and where we're now turning a need into a want, And when it's presented properly, we're with the educational route, we are shifting misconceptions about the importance of life insurance, and we are insuring a lot of people. So we're very excited about doing more of that.
Awesome. Marlene, what's same question to you?
You know, when I first got recruited, I was 23. My first misconception was this is going to be hard and boring. I thought I was going to be like a CPA learning tax laws, or like real estate, a lot of technicality. I didn't understand how simple it was. To me, it was like car insurance. You're not a rocket scientist. You have an app on your phone or in your computer, and you're going to ask male or female, height, weight, do they smoke, medical condition, enter, and then it gives you an answer. So once I saw how to run quotes, I'm like, that's it? I don't need to memorize all this stuff. I have to just put in their information and just push enter, and it gives me the solution. That for me was very exciting because I'm not a technical person. I'm action oriented. I like people, but I'm like, you're telling me there's not a bunch of stuff I need to learn. Once I saw the simplicity of how it worked, I saw myself making an income doing this as a career because I thought I can do this.
Yeah, that's one of the great things. So Sancho never comes up in your Latino market conversations. I don't want to get life insurance because Sancho was going to enjoy it.
Get that all the time. All the time.
That's funny. Overcome objections before they come up. Sales 101, right? But yeah, that definitely happens. Yeah.
Very cool. So when we're talking about finances, Ricky even mentions, he's about to cross $1 million in income. He says, this is something that our demographic, this type of business, this type of industry isn't for our culture, and quickly he turned around. What did Ricky Aguilar see differently about life insurance? Because as a kid raised in the hood in East Bakersfield, to now be one of the, biggest monsters coming up in the insurance industry.
That's right.
What turned around for Ricky saying, this is not something for our people. Now it is.
For some of you guys that don't know Ricky Aguilar, I think he holds an industry record of base shop recruits in a month. My past record was 325. I think you guys got to about 320, Matt. And then he just did, was it 360?
He got 360. We're chasing
360 base shop recruits. This guy's a monster. Him and his wife, monster builders. And, they say that crusaders, they come. It's very rare when they come, crusaders. And when the crusade goes from your head to your heart, you can't stop a person. This is such a noble industry. And so I believe for Ricky and Erica, when they came on board and the business went to their heart, and they really realized the impact we make in just helping out the average family. It could be someone as a single mom like me that she could have put away maybe $50 a month, to the business owners put it away $5,000 a month. But you get the same satisfaction. Yeah. So one is the crusade got in their heart, in my opinion. Number two, they're a couple that have a high identity, but they set aside all egos. All ego aside, ego is the enemy, and they're so coachable. They just want to go out there and win. Same thing with their brother Alejandro Aguilar and his wife. So the coachability was there, the hunger factor's there. They just want to go win and make history and break records. This is why they're killing it right now. They're about to get $2 million of income, and we're very proud of those guys. Babe, what would you say?
Ricky looks big and tough with his tattoos, and he looks intimidating, but honestly, he's the biggest teddy bear you'll ever meet. He's a protector. And so when Ricky does this, when Ricky recruits people, Ricky genuinely wants to transform lives. He genuinely wants to bring awareness to he genuinely wants to give hope. This is a guy that as a teenager did time. This is a guy that got recruited to gangs as a teenager. This is a guy that was looking for that. And I think he feels blessed because he was able to receive mentorship that he just wants to pay it forward. So I think he does it from a place of wanting to protect. And it comes across, by the way, he's so genuine. So I think people just flock to him because they can feel, his transparency.
If you've ever watched that movie, Carlito's Way, one of the things he says in that movie is that one of the worst things in the world is wasted talent. And think about, had he not been recruited into your organization, how much wasted talent a Ricky Aguilar would have expended in this world, and nobody would ever known about the impact that Ricky Aguilar can make because you had the patience, the guidance, the leadership, the example to build a guy like him. Think about
That's
that.
right. That's right. Great point. Very good point.
Had the desire, definitely had the desire.
There's so many people, by the way, that do have wasted talent. And a lot of them are in the sales business. And they find themselves going from one sales opportunity to another sales opportunity to another sales opportunity. And they don't come across a leadership opportunity. And when you come across a leadership opportunity, man, you're going to discover an aversion that you never even knew was there. And that's the most exciting part for those that are going back and forth. You find yourself in the same thing, different industry, another sale, another sale, another sale. No, sell yourself on who you could become. You got to sell yourself in a leader that you can become, and you got to work on that. And when you have that opportunity, you come across here, and you have the right mentors, man, who you can become it will not be wasted talent, and it goes a long way. Good point.
Well, I'm fired up, guys. Guys, this is a wrap to our episode here. Before I let you guys go, because we want to make sure we pick a couple winners here, who's going to get Tim Grover's new upcoming book called Winning, who's the best-selling author of the book Relentless, who coached Michael Jordan for 13 years, who coached Dwayne Wade, who coached Kobe Bryant. And he's releasing this book called Winning coming up here in June. And we'll select you if you're the person here in our live chat that mentions the names of the books that Jose and Marlene Gaytan mentioned in the beginning of books that's recommended for you to read, to be a leader, to be a builder, to incorporate sales leadership into your life. And so I'll wait for you guys to pick the right winner here, Jose and Marlene.
I got Juan already responded.
Nice.
You see here, Relentless, Tim Grover. Oh, I did mention David Goggins.
You did.
And that's right. And 33 Strategies of War.
My pick is Matthew Torres for sure, because he's been commenting the whole time. Just such a good attitude. So
that's
Matthew
TCO
Torres.
right there.
Oh, okay. I don't see the others.
So Matt Torres is the winner, and who else?
I got Juan Santis is one of the first ones that I see here posted.
Juan Santis. Okay. Yeah, I'll pick a winner. I'll pick a winner too. I'll pick Maxine Hernandez, because Maxine Hernandez has been very frequent on this too as well. Very committed. Just a great team member to have. I can't wait for her to build a massive business. But those are three winners: Matt Torres, Maxine Hernandez, and yours, Marlene, was
Matthew Torres.
Matthew Torres, and Jose, yours was
Juan Santis is the first one that I saw.
Juan Santis. Please send an email to podcast@phpagency.com. Podcast@phpagency.com to be awarded your book by PHP Agency and written by Tim Grover. Final thoughts, Jose. I'll let you take a stab at this first, and Marlene will go out in terms of final thoughts. Jose, what's your thoughts, bro?
Look, it's now April 2021. I mean, how is April, the first 4 months of the year, looking like? And how is it different than 2020, than 2019 and 2018? If things have not changed for you, I challenge you, go change your environment, change your associations, change the things that you're doing every single day, be around the right mentors and leaders, and things are going to change for you the rest of 2021. Most people do not make any changes. I challenge you to go do something significant and make sure you get your hands on a ticket that will be sold out for the big event at the MGM in Las Vegas in August. That'll be a life-changing event, okay, for the lineup that we have. That can be the beginning of a great awakening for you on what you want to do, whether you get into this industry or other industries, but you need to have an experience. You got to have a significant emotional experience like I had many years ago when I went to my first convention in Orlando, Florida, and it changed my life. It changed my life. Today, to be able to build a business with my beautiful wife, we have 2 boys, we're gonna have 1 on the way, and to say that we don't have to wake up and worry about money. But that could be you next. That could be you next. So I just hope you find yourself the right running mates to go build something special.
Thank you, Jose. Marlene, final thoughts.
Awesome. I have to tell you, I was a little nervous interviewing my husband. I thought this was going to be fun, but I had such a good time today on the podcast. So for anybody watching this, tag your favorite power couple. Maybe it's, your sister, your brother, your friend, somebody that maybe is in a relationship or wants to find a relationship so that, we can attract more power couples here in PHP.
You got it.
Thank you, man. You got it. And for those of you watching this, I know you probably hear a lot about PHP Agency, but in the words of our CEO, just hang around us, listen to us, get to know us, pop open the hood. We're willing to share, because after a while, you probably would start thinking for yourself. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you watching this PHP Agency Podcast, PHP Podcast episode 6, with my co-host, Marlene Gaytan, interviewing her husband, Jose, and them together, our first generation cash flow millionaires upon the PHP Agency platform. And all we're looking for right now, who's next? Who's next? I'm looking at you right now. Who's next? Are you next? Are you next? Are you willing to be the next Jose and Marlene Gaytan's organization? And the thing which you said, Jose, was so powerful in terms of finding your right associations, because for my wife and I, when we decided to take a day off, who do we call? We called Jose and Marlene Gaytan. We called Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas. We said, meet us in Vegas. We just need some time off. We need to blow some steam. We chose the right partners. And the interesting thing about that conversation, all three of us right now are multi millionaires upon the PHP Agency platform, because we chose our associations. And I hope you are wise about choosing your associations too as well. That being said, guys, I'm looking forward to episode 7 next week. We're going to go into a new month of May, magnificent May. And somebody brought up next Wednesday is actually Cinco de Mayo. So we'll have to find something interesting, an interesting guest for that. Maybe we
at the BOMs. Orange County, you want to have some, come on down here. Tequila on me.
That's it, man. So that being said, guys, on behalf of Jose Gaytan, my co-host Marlene Gaytan, I'm your money smart guy. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, PHP Agency, and make sure you reach out and connect. If you want a book, reach out and connect the podcast at PHP Agency. If you've done so already, you're watching this in a replay, drop your biggest takeaways in the comments section below. That being said, I'm your money smart guy, and until we meet again, continue to help people, continue to love people, and continue to change your lives today. God bless you guys. Bye-bye, bye-bye.